Coming up on WUTV, major changes are coming to the University of West Georgia as UWG President Dr. Kyle Morrell embarks on a new journey.
And we take a look into new parking tickers and why students are saying they're more confusing than they are helpful.
Plus, the government is now reopened, but many people, including college students, are still feeling the effects of the shutdown. We sit down with a UWG student to talk more about how this affected his education. WUTV
starts right now.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to WUTV. I'm Georgia MacArthur.
And I'm Charity McFather.
Some
major changes are coming to the University of West Georgia. Georgia's Board of Regents announced last month that UWG President Dr. Kyle Morrell will be leaving at the end of March. Dr. Morrell was chosen to serve as the 14th president of Georgia Southern University, and he's preparing to begin his new position on April 1st.
Dr. Morrell stopped by the studio to sit down with WUTV anchor Bodie Brooks to talk about some of his major accomplishments over the last 5 years.
You certainly have made an impact. West Georgia has come a long way since you did first take office in 2013. From record enrollment, we've had the opening of not one but 2 new campuses and the creation of the Engaged West Initiative and Strategic Plan. Looking back on all of these accomplishments, how did you prioritize what all you were going to do first during your tenure here?
That's a great question. Well, you know, I'd been in academia for 20 years before that, and I was fortunate to be an assistant professor of music, an associate professor of music, a full professor of music, a department chair, director of a school, art, theater, and music departments, and a vice president for advancement. And through that process, what I was able to see not only from every level of what it meant to be a faculty member, what it meant to really be engaging firsthand with students, and then, you know, the issues you may have with a department or a college level administrative structure, and how could you really empower the faculty to be successful. And then at the same turn, looking when I was at that department or dean level, what it would mean to really be able to empower and enrich and enable then the department chair and the faculty of those departments to be successful. And thus as a vice president and raise money for those areas, I was a VP for advancement. And then as a president, what all those experiences having been in every job along the way to understand the through line with that and what it truly meant to help students be successful in this transformational period in their life. And so for me, as I came in wanting to do more than just the norm, just come in and lead an institution and help them with a strategic plan. So we started with a strategic plan because we needed a direction. We needed a way to measure that, something that we could hang on to. But when we took that strategic plan, the Engage West initiative was really the next part, because I knew from experience, Bodie, that a strategic plan becomes an inanimate object that's placed on a shelf that then everybody every year or two pulls off and goes, let's see if we actually did anything on the strategic plan. Oh, looky there, we did a couple things. As opposed to what's the culture? What do the people need to do every day and understand every day, of which they can then be a part of this and feel empowered then to help the institution progress, their department progress, their college, their division, and be tethered and completely aligned in tandem with the institution achieving that success. And so Engage West became then the living, breathing soul, the driver, the culture, evidence-based leadership, a culture of high performance, where every individual would know what to do every day, why they were so important, why what they did was so important in achieving the goals of the institution, their unit, their department, and then that they would be engaged. So the word engagement was critical, because we celebrate shared governance and academic freedom on any campus in the United States. But often that word shared governance ends up meaning, it means I can just complain about anything and I don't have to have a solution, right? What we really try to empower is, yes, be critical. Tell us what we can do better to help the students have a more successful path and pathway through their time here. But more importantly, bring problem-solving solutions along the way and to equip that and be engaged in that process of continuous improvement. So that was the difference, and I think what we've been really successful is empowering that, embedding that, sustaining that legacy now that there's an expectation of excellence, of accountability of all faculty and staff towards the single outcome of student success.
And we want to wish Dr. Morrell the best of luck in his new endeavor.
After a record 35 days, the government is now back open. President Trump agreed to sign a part-time deal to reopen the government for 3 weeks. The shutdown, which is the longest in American history, caused 800,000 federal employees to miss 2 paychecks. The shutdown even managed to delay financial aid for several college students. I sat down with one student who says he isn't in school this semester because of the shutdown. After the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, some college students are still having issues with their financial aid. While the federal student aid was not directly impacted by the temporary shutdown, students are finding they need certain additional documents, including IRS tax transcripts, to receive aid, leaving students the option to pay out of pocket for their tuition or not attend school for the spring semester. Ethan Henninger, a student at the University of West Georgia, tells us how this has personally impacted him and his plan for graduation.
Yeah, so basically I'm out of school because the government shutdown happened at the worst time when I was trying to get that one form. And so yeah, so now I'm not in school because of that.
Henninger is expected to graduate in the spring class of 2019, but will now have to wait to finish his degree. When we tried to find more information for students affected, since the government's reopening, the federal student aid posted their page could not be found. However, prior to its removal, this message was posted on the FSA website stating they are evaluating the impact this may have on students and adapting to processes as needed. The government is temporarily reopened as of January 25th, but students like Ethan are realizing they may not be able to receive aid until the government opens permanently.
And over the winter break, the University of West Georgia implemented a new parking feature for drivers on campus. This new feature has not gone unnoticed. In fact, many drivers have already begun to question this feature's effectiveness. To help cut down raging parking wars as students head to class, UWG Parking and Transportation introduced parking tickers to the campus. Parking tickers have been implemented in several lots across campus. The device uses solar panels and a sensor to count how many spots are available. However, some students are concerned that this still is not helpful.
Parking tickers are ineffective and useless because it doesn't tell you which spot is available, it just tells you a spot is available.
The parking tickers are a great aspect to the university, but I believe, sometimes, it's hard for us to understand, if it's the exact number.
I think that money would have been much better spent, on a parking garage or a parking deck of some sort.
Associate Vice President Mark Reeves of Auxiliary Services explains the reason for the new devices.
They don't have time to shop around and look for spaces, so we thought rather than have to build more parking, which is just hundreds of thousands of dollars, it'd be better to direct the students to the empty parking spaces. That saves them money because they pay the fees that would pay for new parking lots, but it also gets them to the parking a lot quicker.
Directors of Auxiliary Services and Parking and Transportation says they work day in and day out with parking contractors to make sure that the parking tickers maintain their effectiveness. Now, I spoke with Parking and Transportation Manager Mr. Wade Crenshaw, and he says he comes out here every morning around 7:15 to reset these devices to make sure they maintain their effectiveness throughout the day. Reporting for WUTV, I'm Georgia MacArthur.
Along with the new parking tickers, UWG's Construction and Planning Department have started a new project that will make it easier for students, staff, and visitors to navigate around campus. Here's WUTV's Morgan Godby with more on this story.
It is very easy to get lost on the UWG campus, but that may soon change with a new construction project. Starting last May, Planning and Construction Services began a long-term plan to place new signs in various areas of campus. Their website states a coherent wayfinding system is needed to guide movement across campus and instill a sense of place. The North Campus sign by the firehouse was the first one replaced. The signs will mark spots all over campus from buildings, streets, parking lots, and sidewalks. There is no expected date for when the signs will be completed. Reporting for WUTV, this is Morgan Godby.
After an extended construction period, the University of West Georgia Newitz Health Center is now officially open for students in this spring 2019 semester. The $4 million facility took nearly a year to build. The new building houses 16 exam rooms, which is double the amount from the old building. It also offers a medical lab and pharmacy, as well as wellness and advocacy services. This is the second major project between UWG and Tanner within recent years. Of many of the eateries around available on campus, the University of West Georgia can welcome a brand new restaurant, Lobo's. Formerly the breakfast stop Einstein Bro Bagels, and Lobos is a grab-and-go Mexican restaurant. Lobos began operation January 7, 2019, and was open in an effort to expand the food choice variety for the hungry students on campus.
Among various other accolades and accreditations, the University of West Georgia has recently been acknowledged for its online programs offered for students. WUTV's Alexa Thompson has more on this achievement.
According to a recent report put out by the U.S. News and World Report, the University of West Georgia found itself listed highly among the rankings of online programs. Of all the UWG online graduate programs, the master's degree in applied computer science was ranked the highest at 41st in the nation. Reporting for WTV, I'm Alexa Thompson.
And when we come back from our break, we sit down with Senate Majority Leader Mike Dugan to talk about his new position and the pressing issues in this 2019 legislation session.
And you can also find out how flu season is affecting Georgia's residents. This is WUTV.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume, discover new ways to develop great talent, like me.
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model.
From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hello and welcome back to WUTV.
That's right. Now that we're back, we have a lot more to cover for you. Senator Mike Dugan recently found himself as the Senate Majority Leader for the state of Georgia. WUTV reporter Bodie Brooks got an opportunity to sit down with him and discuss his thoughts on the new role and get a preview of what's to come.
Carrollton's own is rising through the ranks of the Georgia legislature. As the 2019 session gets underway at the Capitol, Carrollton State Senator Mike Dugan begins his new role as Majority Leader of the Georgia Senate.
People want to understand where we're going. They want to have a clear sense of purpose, understand what the intent is at the end of the day, and have somebody that's going to be honest with them and have their back.
We spoke with Dugan inside his office under the Gold Dome and talked about both his new position and the new wave of legislation Georgia faces under a new administration.
Any session we're going in, you know, education is going to be our #1 focus. Other priorities that we have, you've heard stories about the 2 Georgias. You know, you've got the metropolitan areas that have done extremely well. We're proud of everything that they've done, but we haven't done quite as well in some of the rural parts of the state. And to provide them with the assets they need, the tools they need to become competitive within the rest of the country.
Dugan says Carroll County is a perfect example.
Are you a urban district or are you a rural district? And I go, yes, because half of my district is metropolitan Atlanta. The other half is very, very agrarian, and I'm proud of both, but they have different challenges.
As Dugan closed, he spoke to me about his pride for Carrollton.
I'm proud to be from there because of the amount of innovation that has been born there that is now moving across the entire state as the standard.
Reporting for WUTV, I'm Bodie Brooks.
The peak of flu season is here, and according to the Georgia Department of Public Health, new numbers reported from across the state reveal Georgia has some of the highest flu activity in the country. Along with Colorado and New York, WTV reporter Taylor Bradfield has more on ways to keep you and your family healthy.
So far, the flu this season claimed the lives of 7 Georgia residents. Earlier in the year, retailers like Kroger and Publix showed interest in declining the outbreak by offering free gift cards to people who came in to receive the flu shot. While our very own UWG Health Center offers the shot, nasal spray, and tips on how to stay healthy during this flu season. For WUTV, this is Taylor Bradfield.
Carroll County began a new transit system for the residents back in July of 2018 after almost a year of operation. WUTV reporter Samari Williams has investigated into how this newest form of transportation has been going.
Carroll County's transit system began servicing residents July 2nd and since then has provided transportation to at least 35% of locals. Since its beginning, over 25,000 people have used the connecting Carroll bus system. Citizens primarily use it for doctor's visits, shopping, and even to get to work and school. Altogether, the program costs around $35,000 annually. District 1 Commissioner Montrell McClendon explains how the system is funded.
We work with the GDOT, which is Department of Transportation, Department of Health and Human Services, of course Carroll County, and then the residents, and basically when they pay fees to ride the bus. So we kind of divvied up the cost.
Connecting Carroll provides one-way trips for a fee of $3 and a round-trip fee of only $6. Reporting for WTV, I'm Samari Williams.
And if you stick around after the break, you'll get the latest updates on weather for the week.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
Hello and welcome to Weather. I'm Mackenzie Love. This fierce winter weather has already begun to cause problems for local school systems in the state of Georgia, including the University of West Georgia. They have announced the first closing as a result of weather on January 29th. The threat of ice and snow around the county was responsible for many nearby school closings. In an effort to make the most of winter school closings, the city of Bremen has begun looking into a plan to keep the school's calendar on track despite the changes in the weather. Here's WUTV's reporter Anna E.
The Bremen City School District is considering digital access for their students during bad weather. This would allow students to stay learning regardless of school closings. Last year alone, the students missed 8 school days due to weather-related issues. The superintendent explains how students need that missed instructional time.
kids to take high-stakes tests, and then they're missing, like last year, so many instructional days. You could argue it's a disservice to those students to not try to give them some more instructional time.
A Bremen High School student shares her thoughts about the digital learning option that is being considered.
Wouldn't be the most fun thing to do, but if it was just a few assignments online to make sure we don't get behind, I don't see there being a major issue in it.
Reporting for WUTV, I'm Anna E. Perez.
It's Severe Weather Preparedness Week in Georgia, and that means it's time to get ready for an event of severe weather affecting you and your family. Each day is dedicated to a severe weather preparedness topic. Monday is planning for preparedness. Tuesday is thunderstorm safety. Wednesday is tornado safety. Thursday is lightning safety. And Friday is flood safety. Severe Weather Preparedness Week provides an opportunity to learn about the severe weather and the action to take when severe weather strikes. Be sure to take some time this week to put a safety plan together. If you'd like some additional tips, you can visit the National Weather website. While it may not be cold enough to use space heaters right now, it will be in the upcoming week, and it's important to know how to properly use space heaters. According to the National Fire Protection Associated, space heaters are the leading cause of house fires during the winter months. Some simple steps can be taken in order to prevent this from happening to you. Here are a few. First, keep anything that can burn at least 3 feet away from the space heater. Always remember to turn the space heaters off before leaving the house or going to bed, and have a 3-foot kids-free zone around open fires and space heaters. If you would like to see more safety tips, you can head over to www.nfpa.org. Per usual, Georgia weather can never be predicted. Last week, we experienced some freezing cold temperatures and even this week, we'll have a different story, and we'll see high temps in the 60s and lows in the 50s and 40s. It's also looking like a very wet week. Let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. So as we can see, on Monday and Tuesday, we kind of had a warm week with the highs in the 60s and the lows in the 50s. But tomorrow on Wednesday, we will have a partly cloudy sky with temperatures in the higher 70s and low 60s. On Thursday, however, we'll start to warm up a little bit with a high of 76 and a low of 50. And on Friday, we'll kind of be a little bit more cloudy as we have highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s. That's all we have for your weekly forecast this week. Next, we will turn it over to Charity as we will go into our sports.
Janet, it's nice seeing you again. You a good girl. Just let me know what I can do to help.
Well, to help me, she'd have to help every day. Every hour, every ouch, every time my wife calls for help. I mean, maybe she could help me make her lunch. But the crust, all the crust has to be cut off the corners. She could help me run to the doctor for the 5th time this week. Help me with the specialist and the second opinions and the painful paperwork about paperwork. Help me deal with how hard it is seeing my wife's name on so much paperwork. But this is on me. I'm the only one who can do this, like this, for her. Besides,
take care.
We will. Janet doesn't like her cooking anyway.
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
So there you are. Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
It may have been the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history, but the New England Patriots are celebrating their historic win, taking home their 6th championship title from the Super Bowl 53. The Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 last night in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
And the UWG cheerleading squad continues to make history as they are yet again named UCA national champions. WTV sports reporter Corey Brown has more on this major accomplishment.
January 20th marks the 24th championship run since the start of the program's dynasty in 2001 as the West Georgia Wolves all-girls cheer squad swept the competition, while also the co-ed squad brings home their 6th consecutive championship victory under the coaching of Nicole Nichols. This brings their total to 21 national titles for both teams. This is Corey Brown reporting for WUTV.
In other sports news, the men and women's basketball teams are gearing up for their heated competition against the Valdosta State Blazers Thursday night. Both the men and women's team are looking to redeem themselves after taking a loss to the Christian Brothers Buccaneers last weekend. The Lady Wolves fell 11-8 on the year and the 6-7 in the Gulf South Conference, and the men's team dropped to 12-9 on the year and 7-6 in the Gulf South Conference. Both teams will take on the Blazers this Thursday at 5:30 p.m.
And the UWG football team will host a National Signing Day party on Wednesday. The party will be held at Jefferson's on Maple Street from 6 to 8. Head football coach David Dean will talk about this year's signing class and the upcoming 2019 season. The National Signing Day is an exciting day for students and athletes around the country as they take their next step toward their dream of being a collegiate athlete. And that's all the news for your UWG sports. In the final stretch of our newscast, we will have footage of an amazing event that decorated our sky a few weeks ago.
It's something you would hate to miss, so be sure to stick with us through the break.
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. Just never judges. She's a true role model.
From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Yeah, you a good girl. Just let me know what I can do to help.
Well, to help me, she'd have to help every day. Every hour, every ouch, every time my wife calls for help. I mean, maybe she could help me make her lunch. But the crust, all the crust has to be cut off the corners. She could help me run to the doctor for the 5th time this week. Help me with the specialist and the second opinions and the painful paperwork about paperwork. Help me deal with how hard it is seeing my wife's name on so much paperwork. But this is on me. I'm the only one who can do this, like this, for her. Besides,
take care.
We will. Janet doesn't like her cooking anyway.
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
The moon, earth, and sun lined up last month for the only total lunar eclipse occurring within the next 2 years.
If you missed this rare sighting, check out this video. The 3-hour eclipse began Sunday night or early Monday morning for some, depending on their location. The partial phase started around 10:30 p.m. when the Earth's shadow began to nip at the moon. The shadow completely covered the moon around 11:40 p.m. and lasted around an hour. The next total lunar eclipse is expected to occur in May of 2021.
And thank you for joining us here at WUTV today. Remember that you can watch more from WUTV on channel 13.1 on campus and 180 off campus.
You can also keep up with the latest news, weather, and sports on our Twitter at UWGWUTV and like us on our Facebook page.
And that's all the news we have for you today. We'll see you next time for the latest news.